What is going on, my friends? Hank here, and today we are going to take a crack at painting up this 1/48 scale fighter pilot figure. We do quite a bit of 1/35 scale figure work on the channel here, but I've been on a bit of a jet kick lately, so I figure we might as well take a look at how to paint up these guys down here in the smaller scale as well. This figure comes from Tamiya's 1/48 scale F-16 CJ Block 50 kit. We've got him temporarily mounted on a little drywall screw here to serve as our painting jig, and we'll begin as always by spraying the figure with a coat of black primer to serve as our base. Moving on to our first paint color here, let's spray in his flight suit with some USAAF Olive Drab. To follow that up, let's hit his helmet with some dark Ghost Gray. Don't worry about overspraying too much here, we're going to come back and clean up our lines in just a minute. Okay, with our basic colors blocked in, let's break out our brushes and first tidy up that overspraying using some of our flight suit color, that USAAF Olive Drab. Next, let's load up some flat black and start to fill in the visor of his helmet and oxygen mask. This funky looking helmet our F-16 pilot is wearing here features a joint helmet mounted cueing system. This is essentially a visor mounted onto the pilot's helmet that allows him or her to cue and designate targets for IR missiles, specifically the AIM-9X Sidewinder, by looking at the target itself rather than having to move the aircraft onto the target. Pretty cool stuff. So we'll go ahead and paint that JHMCS and oxygen mask in our black. Next, let's start to block in our pilot's survival vest using some khaki. And while we've got our khaki loaded up, let's give him some khaki gloves as well. Why not? Let's go ahead now and paint in the hose of his oxygen mask using some dark Ghost Gray. And for a little pop of detail here, let's add some olive drab to the exposed knees of his G-suit just to differentiate those a bit. With a little bit of white aluminum, we can pull out some details in his watch, as well as the connection points for his visor and oxygen mask. And at this phase, we're ready to coat the figure with some gloss varnish to move on to a bit of weathering. We'll keep it simple today with a basic sludge wash of our Flory Dark Dirt clay-based wash. We can brush some of this all over our pilot and then remove any excess using a bit of tap water and a clean brush. As always, we want to remove any excess product from raised, flat areas of the sculpt and allow it to settle only in the recessed areas to create some artificial shadow and accentuate the details of our figure sculpt. Once that wash is dried completely, we can load up our airbrush with some matte varnish and hit the whole figure to seal in our work thus far and knock down that excess shininess. And for a final touch here, let's load up a fine brush with some of our AK Gauzy agent and brush that over just the visor of our helmet. We want that cueing system to have a nice gloss finish to it to help distinguish it from the matte oxygen mask. And with that, all that's left to do is drop our pilot into his F-16. I like to display my jets on the wall, and I just prefer the way they look with a pilot in the driver's seat, so to speak. Feels more complete to me. A relatively simple paint job on these tiny little figures can add quite a bit of character to your 1/48 scale builds. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and until next time, my friends, be well, happy building, cheers.